All right, guys. So we just got the news. I got a lot more confirmed details on Deshaun Watson being traded from the Houston Texans to the Cleveland Browns. So we're looking at a 5-year, $230 million deal. I heard over the course of the first 4 years, he's making $148 million, which is like a $40 million increase from what he was getting originally, something like that. But some of the bigger pieces to it. So overall, 5 years, $230 million. The entire deal is fully guaranteed, all $230 million. Highest contract that's been given to anybody, fully guaranteed so far. And it's definitely been a shift. We've seen Kirk Cousins do it. We've seen Deshaun Watson now do it, at least at the quarterback positions. I want to say Rodgers had all of his 150 million guaranteed potentially. I got to go back and check that out. And I know there was a linebacker, a defensive lineman that just recently got full guarantees, and I want to say it's DeMarcus Lawrence, but it could be somebody else. Either way, as far as the trade compensation, so until we get the finalized specifics, it seems like the package so far is going to be 3 first rounders. So you have to imagine this year, 2023, 2024, and then we heard it's 2 more additional picks. Somewhere in the day 2 and day 3 range, so probably like a third and a fourth, something like that. We don't know if the Browns are going to get any picks back. It just seems like Deshaun Watson for the 5 picks. But crazy deal. Again, something that's going to change the landscape, but there's a lot of stuff to keep in mind. So Deshaun Watson did beat his case for the civil lawsuits. He's not being charged criminally for any of those. He still has to wait and see what's going to happen with the league, what the additional fallout may be from the cases, if there's follow-up. I'm not sure what all is exactly going to go into that, but, if you want to take a look at the most recent punishment that was doled out for Calvin Ridley as kind of a benchmark, you would have to imagine for such a high-profile quarterback, Goodell might try to make an example, right? Calvin Ridley got a year. I would say at minimum, we'd probably see Watson miss half a year. At the most, we're probably looking at a 2-year penalty, and I'm sure the Browns will, fight that tooth and nail to get their quarterback on the field ASAP. But we also had the Mayfield drama. Mayfield, after learning about everything through social media, which has kind of been a little bit more of a norm, it seems like, which is troubling for the league. They might want to get ahead of that, but nonetheless, it puts Mayfield in a little bit more of a beneficial situation. If he didn't want to come back to Cleveland in any way, and we heard per reports that the ideal trade destination for him was the Indianapolis Colts, it might be a little bit of a win-win for the team. Mayfield can take solace now that, undoubtedly he's no longer going to be the starting quarterback of the Browns. It makes no sense to keep him there as a backup, even though he's still on I believe, the final year of his rookie deal. They can trade him to Indy, where he can try to put a great season on film and then re-up for a second contract. It also provides Cleveland a way to try to recoup some draft capital. So I don't know which picks Indy has left, but you would have to imagine it can still get a pretty decent-sized haul. At best, you can say Mayfield is definitely a quarterback that can get you into the playoffs, and he's shown that he can at least win playoff games. And at worst, you have somebody that, if he's not at his best, he's not going to be able to carry the team. So you got to make sure you have top-tier talent around him. It's tough to put a number on it. JD's made a lot of the trades that he's made happen, right? We get a 6 for Blake Cashman. We pulled off 2 firsts in players and I believe a mid-round pick for Jamal Adams. We get a 2nd and a 4th from Darnold. We see Devontae Adams and what they labeled as a groundbreaking deal, get a 1st and a 2nd sent off to the Packers for him. So, realistically, I would probably say maybe a high day 2, day 3 pick, maybe multiple of those. For Mayfield, if he ends up going, if the Colts have that on hand and they're comfortable with it. But man, what a change! The AFC is getting loaded with superstar quarterbacks, man. It's making it the necessity to have somebody in that upper echelon is definitely up there. So as unwarranted as it is, there's going to be a lot more pressure on Zach Wilson to show something amazing during his second season. We're talking leaps and bounds, jumping over skyscrapers, all that kind of stuff. it also is going to affect the draft plans for us. So, you know, trying to wrap my head around the whole thing has been a bit much because 24 hours ago we heard that the Panthers and the Browns were out of the running for Deshaun Watson. And now suddenly, the deal's getting finalized and they're just working through all the final contract numbers, I would imagine, and then the actual trade compensation. I'm not sure why the Saints and Falcons lost out. All we know as of right now is Deshaun Watson is willing to waive his no trade clause for the Browns. But if there was going to be two, perfect situations for Deshaun Watson to come in immediately and try to get a Super Bowl win, it was going to be the Saints and the Browns. Two of the teams with some of the most loaded rosters in the entire NFL. The Saints might be a little bit more balanced. However, his window literally is probably 1 year, 2 years at best, with how the Saints push a lot of cap penalties and things like that into future years. So it's going to highly diminish their ability to continue to build around him. Whereas the Browns, they have a little bit more solid of a plan. They might be giving away multiple first rounders and some day 2, day 3 picks. However, they'll still have, their 2nd through 7th round selections. They're still going to have the opportunity to get more draft capital back from Mayfield whenever they can finalize a trade with whoever that may be. And their team's a little bit more balanced from offense to defense. So solid situation for them. I'm sure maybe, I don't know if they have state taxes and stuff like that, but I'm sure there's some other benefits beyond just the Super Bowl that'll go to him, and he'll go down in glory. If he can go and get a Super Bowl for Cleveland, it's gonna it's gonna be a crazy day, rainbows and hell, all that good stuff. So yeah, man, crazy deal. We still need to see exactly what all is going to happen with Deshaun Watson's situation. It is going to shift some things in the draft, right? We know the Seahawks still need a quarterback. The Browns are now officially set. They might have been tempted to try to find somebody that can push them in the draft. That's probably no longer the plan. And at this point, I would say if we're looking to trade back, I don't think it's necessarily going to be for a quarterback anymore. We had some situations I talked about in the past with the Eagles and the Steelers as potential trade-ups, and those could still reasonably happen, although Steelers have Trubisky now. Maybe Jalen Hurts has a little bit more of a commitment from the Eagles than we think. But if we're going to see it, it's probably from the defensive line now, if anything else, or offensive tackles. At this point, it looks like Evan Neal and Ika Mekwanu can be on the board at 4 for us potentially. And we could probably see the top 3 edges that we've been expecting the whole time with Karlaftis, Hutchinson, and Thibodeau be taken off by the time the Jets get to 4. And I've even seen Travon Walker, get mocked to us at 4, which is crazy. There's still going to be Hamilton, who's definitely looking like he'll be falling down the board maybe potentially. So there's a lot of blue chip talents that maybe can get pushed to number 10, which will allow us to let number 4 get traded back, maybe for a crazy haul of our own. It's yet to be seen, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. Crazy trade to break win today, but should be exciting stuff in the future. So I'll catch up with you guys again.